Our friends at Detroit Boxing Company are dedicated to providing high-quality boxing apparel. With fighters and fight fans in mind, their designs are unique and stylish. With their hats, shirts, hoodies, jackets, they are going to make your jab cross hook look even more sexy. They have great classic t-shirts that feature some of boxing's biggest legends. Tommy Hearns, James Tooney, Jimmy Paul, and more. The people behind this company are simply wonderful, and they truly care about the boxing community. You have to check out their website at DetroitBoxingCompany.com and see the full catalog of all the great stuff they have available. Scoop up some fresh gear and just make sure you use the code word CoryCast at checkout, and you're going to save yourself a little bit of money. Check out their Instagram page at Detroit Boxing Company and hit that follow button. Just let them know that Cory sent you. Local real estate rock star Kellie Jo Maher joins the podcast today, and I'm very excited because we did a transaction together about a year ago, and she was just simply one of the best. I mean, she continually raises the bar for other agents here in Central New York. We talk all things real estate, how she got started, how she continues to build her business. There is a reason why many people and agents gravitate towards Kellie. Her kind spirit, just genuine personality really shines through when you have a conversation with her. And I think this conversation really gives light to how intelligent she is, how professional she is, and just how simply sweet she is. She gives me the vibes that she's like a real cool aunt. You know what I mean? Without further ado, here's my friend, Kellie Jo.
So what? 2 years ago, you sold one of the nicest houses I think I've ever listed, and now look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought, huh? Well, you've been in real estate for how long?
18 years.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been killing it for a long time. What was so cool about that transaction is that you were extremely patient with me when I was dealing with other circumstances. You know what I mean? So you really your expertise and your professionalism, I think, really shined in that transaction.
Well, thank you for that, because sometimes I wonder, you were easy to deal with. I mean, there are some agents that you know this, that are just difficult.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
I don't want that, I don't want there to be a takeaway today, but when I first got my license, somebody said to me, the buyer wants to buy, the seller wants to sell, and too many realtors mess up the deal. They just get their egos in the way. And there are times I've lost my cool, I will be honest, but usually it's because the other person is just, if we both work together, hey, do you know something? Do I know something? Let's work together
Yeah.
to get this deal done. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I remind myself is like, yes, I am working for my client, but at the same time, like everybody has the shared goal. We're all trying to get
Yep.
across the finish line together, right? So it's
Yep.
like, what use does it do when you're constantly at odds with the other?
Well, what I will tell you this, when I first got my license, one of the number one agents in the state worked for Coldwell Banker. Am I allowed to say that? You have your Howard Anna sign
Mhm.
there, so I'm saying it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it
Um,
doesn't matter. You can say whatever.
yep. And I met with her and took her to lunch, and I asked her, and she said, the other realtor is your best customer.
Hmm.
Think
Because
about
you
that.
work with them a long time, right?
Because you work with them, and in a market like we just came through the last 3 years, if I see your name on a sign, oh my God, Cory's awesome to work with. He knows me. Our office got to be, our offer has to be great, but still, we work hand
Yeah.
in hand all the time together.
Yeah.
So
Right.
why would you
Right.
alienate the best customer that you could have?
Yeah. Right. Right. In 18 years, that's like a long time. That puts you right at like 2004, if my math is right.
You're very good. I started when I was 10.
You started when you were 10, I know, crazy, right? I told you I wasn't gonna have to do anything to make you look young, Kelly.
I don't know. The lighting sucks in my office. Yes, I had just had my first baby. I started late. I was 35 when I had Emma, right? Yep, 2004. And I had worked for AT&T for 10 years. And when I worked for
AT&T.
AT&T, AT&T for 10 years. So when I was working for them, I was actually traveling. I was reporting to New Jersey, and I was traveling a lot to different parts of the country, um, talking to sales teams. I had been a number one sales rep for AT&T for 10 years. So they had asked me to go to sales teams and kind of motivate them and talk to them about how to, it was selling business plans. It wasn't,
Oh,
residential phone
was it
numbers. It was
residential?
business.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next
It was
question.
business. Yeah, it was business plans. It was back when DSL first came out. You remember
Mm,
DSL? Okay.
yep.
So now we have all this. It was right when that was exploding, and I was selling what they call T3 lines and OC3 lines and all the lines that run underneath businesses and go into what's called a data server, a web server place. And so I had my baby, and I said to my husband, I would travel 2 or 3 weeks a month. And I said, I don't want to travel. And the
Yeah.
funniest thing happened. I was home one day, and I said to David, I think I'm going to go back next month. I was due to go back, and I'm going to work a month just to get, remember what was called Cobra? Are you too young for that? Cobra was
Yeah,
like
I
you
don't
would
remember.
get, it was an insurance thing. So if you went and worked, you would get a year of insurance as long. So I was going to go back to AT&T for a month and work for a month and then quit because I didn't want to travel. And my
Right.
manager from New Jersey called, and he's like, Kelly Jo, I hate to tell you this. We've downsized and we've done away with your position, but because you've been there for 10 years, we have an incredible settlement package, which was a lot of money, and a year of insurance. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. He's like, you're the only phone call I've made today that everyone's happy that you're happy. I'm like, I was gonna quit. Yeah. And my
Wow.
husband said, Go, why don't you go get your license? We can live off this little settlement and go get your real estate license. I'm like, okay, not even knowing what that meant.
Was that in the back of your head like this whole time? Like
Mm-mm,
getting your real estate license, or was it your husband that
never.
planned it?
It was my husband because he's a
Yeah.
builder. And
Ah.
so, I didn't even really know. Literally, I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll just go try something else, Well, let's go."
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was just like, "Okay." So there was an older woman here in town named Jen Pronowski. She had her signs all over the area, and so I called her, not even knowing what this entails. And she said, "Go talk to my manager in Brewerton." So I went to the Coldwell Banker, never interviewed anyone else, just went there, talked to him. He said, "Go take the test, go do this, and come back when you're done." And I did. That was
Hmm.
it.
Wow. Wow. That's really cool. And
Yeah,
that's from that past job, you've probably learned like a lot about how to sell. And it's, I don't know, you will probably agree it's less than selling and just more like trying to find solutions for people, right?
that's an excellent way of saying it. Thank you. Yes, it
Because we're
is.
not that's the thing is like people think we're like salespeople, and that's kind of not really. We're just problem solvers. That's
I
all.
was gonna say we're problem solvers. We're
Yeah.
negotiators.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
But I get a lot of people say, "I'm gonna get my license. I would love to get my license. Can I talk to you about getting my license?" And the first thing I say to them is, "Can you sell?" I tell them that. When they look at me, I'm like, "Can you sell? And can you prospect?" Everybody knows a realtor. And
Hmm.
when the market went crazy, I cannot remember the numbers, and forgive me, I'm this is my last year on the board, and I'm gonna butcher this, but let's just say there's 1,000 new agents, maybe even 500 new agents, right? Everyone knows a realtor.
Hmm.
So, can you
Yep.
sell? Can you differentiate yourself against all those new agents and agents that are out there?
When you had went to Coldwell Banker and interviewed, was that first year being in real estate? Was it what you thought it was going to be?
Mm,
It seemed like you kind of like you didn't know what to expect, really.
I loved it because I didn't know what to expect at all. In fact, I remember you guys have taken. No, I did the in classes back then. There wasn't Zoom classes or online
Yeah,
classes.
I did mine all
So you
online.
did, yeah. Oh, I don't see.
I
I'm old.
hated
I
it.
can't hit. I
Yeah, I
hate
can't stand it.
online. I like the conversation in
Yeah, me
class.
too. Yep.
Um, but I went and took the class, and then it really is just law. That's all the real estate classes is law. They don't really teach you anything. They don't teach you how to write a contract. They
Wow.
don't teach you how to negotiate. And I remember coming out of class and immediately getting someone who wanted to see a house, and everyone kept saying, "When you show the house, when you show the house." And I remember saying to one of the older agents in my office, "Mike, what does it mean to actually show the house? Like, why does everyone say show the house, show the house?" He's like, KJ, just, show out this, point out the attributes. I'm like, okay. So that's what I did. But I loved
Wow.
it because I wasn't going into an office. I wasn't getting on a plane. I wasn't in a hotel room. And because I had such a good center of influence from AT&T, and prior to that, I owned a diner here in my town. I have a
Nice.
huge center of influence.
Mhm.
So I rocked and rolled with postcards and letters. Hey, I'm in real estate, and that's how I got
Now,
it
did you
going.
join a team or were you totally solo when you joined?
I'm not a team girl.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
totally solo, which is like some people who get into the business, they usually start on a team or sometimes will form a team and kind of build the leads themselves. But you took the solo approach with all the prospecting. Was
Mm.
postcards your most successful way when you first got in?
So yeah, so Coldwell Banker, am I allowed to say this? They had and they still
Yeah.
do. They have a huge training program. So back then, when you got your license, they actually had a building, and there was 30 people in my class. Out of 30 people, I'm going to say
Wow.
Eric. Oh my gosh, now forgive me, Eric. Him and I are the only two people that kept their license out of 30 people.
Oh,
But you would
wow.
go every day to this class from, like, I can't remember, 8 or 9 to 1 o'clock, and the instructor would teach you how to write everything, and then we'd have to go in a room and prospect, which for me was nothing. I just spent 10 years on AT&T. Ding! Thank you for calling AT&T. This is Kelly. How can I help you? That's all I
Yeah.
did all day.
Yeah.
So, I did postcards. I prospect. I just got my name out to everyone, and people just started calling. I think my first year I did 19 deals, and that was September. That's a
Wow.
lie. I think it was 15. I think I started in September. I think I did 15. The next year, I think I did like 30, 35. 50 was a huge number for me. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, oh my God, whoever does 50 is incredible. And I've surpassed that the last 10 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So I just,
Now, has postcards been like your most successful prospecting?
so I do the 4 touches a year. I do a lot of postcards. I do calendar mailings every
Mm.
December. Do you do those, Corey?
No, I don't do the
You do?
calendars. No.
So I just had lunch with a mutual friend of ours. We did that reel together. We decided we're new best friends.
Oh, yeah, MJ, right?
Morgan, MJ.
Yeah.
And I said, huge. I send out 500 calendars every year. Little, and one year I didn't because it's a pain. They're costly. The stamps that I used to pay my kids $5 a box. There'd be like 50 a box. They thought that was great.
Yeah.
Now they're 17 and 19. And I can't even pay them $100 to stuff a
Yeah.
box. But I told her, I said, I do magnet calendars. And I could tell you story after story of how people have said, hey, I was at a dinner party at so and so's house, and your calendar was on their fridge, and I need to sell my house. One of my clients is a bus driver, puts the calendar on his thing on the bus so
That's cool.
everybody sees it. Yeah.
Wow, that's smart. It's
So,
kinda I just got this from, Faye Coffee from, Home Inspection.
yep,
He sent this out. Pretty cool. I like it. It's a little touch. I got
it
it right here on
is.
my
So
desk.
mine are the paper. I don't know if I have, I think I probably threw it out. Hold on. Yeah, I'm waiting for new ones. So mine is the names on the top, and then you rip off the paper. And I always
Nice.
do the recipe one because people like recipes. So
Yeah.
every year I'm waiting for them to come in, they'll go out. I do calendars. I try to touch my clientele. That's funny. Email, text. I know. If I'm driving by a house I sold, I'll text them and say, "Oh my God, I just drove by the house. How do you love it?" This
So
week
you're
I've
always, like, you're
spent
maintaining that the constant contact with your clients.
I will be honest, this is my goal this year is to be better at it. I'm not as good as I'd like to be, but I am better. There's some clients I've stayed well in touch with, and there's some that you haven't. That's normal. They'll
Mhm.
always get an email. They're on my center of influence. They'll always get something on a holiday, and then the calendars. But this week I took all of my buyers that are local, and they got little personalized gifts. So I've been driving around for 2 weeks. I just dropped
Wow.
2 off this morning. Yep.
Nice.
I'm gonna
What
drop
are the
2 off
gifts?
tomorrow. I got adorable little Christmas ornaments that has, their address on it, and it's a picture of a house
Oh,
with a key, and it says, "Our first year in a new home."
oh, nice. That's
Yep,
adorable. That is a
yep.
really great idea. I think Donna was doing that too. Have you done anything
Someone
that's like what's that?
I saw someone, another team was doing wreaths. I thought that was great. They went out and delivered wreaths to all their
Oh,
clients. I'm like, "That's great."
wow, the race is a cool idea. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the cool thing when you're a lot of people don't know it's like half our job is showing house, negotiating, writing contracts, but that other like I would even argue like 60-70% of our job is just trying to prospect and find new clients and try to find different ways that
Yep.
to kind of market to reach. Is there been anything that you've done that's kind of like outside the box in terms of marketing to find some new clients that worked really well?
You know, I knew you were gonna ask me this question because I reviewed the sheet. And I was trying to think, I did sign up in 2008. I signed up for Mike Ferry coaching. Have you ever heard of
Mm,
Mike Ferry?
I got a big crush on Tom Ferry.
Okay, so I think that was his brother, right? An older
Yeah, or
brother.
something.
Mike
I
Ferry
like
was kinda like, you could take or leave Mike Ferry. He was kind of abrasive
yeah,
and, he didn't bother me because I have thick skin, or I like to think I have thick skin, but that was $12,000 in a declining market.
wow,
Yeah, that was a
wow,
huge leap for me. I remember calling my husband going, "I'm at this seminar and they're going to teach me how to work harder or not, work smarter, not harder. Can I do this?" He's like, "Absolutely. Whatever you want to do, Kel," which is what he always says. Um,
yeah,
and I signed up and it was weekly one-on-one coaching. And in 2008, I had one of my best years since I started 4 years ago. And remember, that was a declining market.
yeah,
And then it just continued uphill. So in answer to your question, out of the box would have been that, because they just had a lot of, ideas of how to reach a client, how to, the scripts. I'm not big on scripts,
mhm,
but I would read a script just to figure
same,
out, okay, that's a good avenue. I like that mindset. I personalize it more. I don't do a script.
yeah.
But, that I've bought leads before. I do not buy leads. I'm telling you
Yeah, I
right
haven't
now, I
done that
tried.
either. I just, I veer away. Just personally, I didn't like them. I didn't think they were worth the bang for my buck. Like, for those that are listed, like buying, you could buy leads on Zillow and you get a zip code or realtor.com and you can just basically get the leads that come from those websites.
Mm.
But, I don't know. I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to find something different. Do you think having that weekly call with your coach really helped you kinda, like, have one of your best years ever,
I
right?
think it did. It helped me be accountable for a lot. I was
Accountable.
already doing great, but it really, and I hated it. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I dreaded the accountability.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very accountable to myself. Not to digress and not to give too much information, but I had a very difficult childhood.
Mhm.
I was never handed anything, and I was on my own at 17. So when I tell people my story, they're like, "Oh, I came from a broken home, just not a good situation at all." And at 17, I was like, "See ya, I'm out of here." And I got my own place and worked as hard as I could, waiting tables and bartending and cocktail waitressing, and started a house cleaning service on my own. And I just did what it took.
Mhm.
And then, that has given me the drive and the accountability, because I was like, nobody's handing me anything. Nobody's buying me a car. Nobody's put me through to college. I'm on
Right,
my own.
right.
So as I started to get into businesses, like I leased a diner and I had a diner called Kelly's Little Kitchen, I was accountable for my own income. One of my clients was a manager at AT&T, and T, and she's like, "Oh my God, you'd be great at this." I'm like, "Really?" And then I went there. So it just progressed. I've always been driven, just me. I'm not
Yeah.
against you. I'm not against another top performer. I'm just, I want to provide for my family. I want to give them what I never had.
Mhm.
That's
Wow.
probably off what you just asked me, right?
Yeah, well, no, and I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards you, Kelly Joe's, because 'cause you're very, you're very genuine in
Oh,
who you
thank
are,
you.
and it's not like, you said script earlier, right? And the
Mm,
script is gives everybody the ideas, Hello, Kellie Jo. How are you today? Can I help sell you a house? What are you looking for today? Like they think
Yeah.
that it's like a very rudiment and like that.
Mm-mm.
I think people can kind of see through that bullshit. But when they get to see Kellie Jo show a house, like you're
Yeah.
getting like a fun, bubbly, like real sympathetic person who's like really trying to help you uh purchase a house. And I think that stands miles above the what can I do? Can I help you find a house? Like very robot like.
Hmm.
I think that goes a lot farther than
Thank you. That means a lot to me. It really does.
yeah,
It
no,
really
and that's
does.
I mean, ever since we first did that deal together, that's I'd always thought that. And we had even met, I think before that at like a GSAR dinner or something. And
We did?
immediately when I met, I thought you were a wonderful person.
Oh, thank
Not
you.
yeah, not to blow too much smoke up your ass though, Kelly.
I'll call you every week and just get my daily dose. Headache.
Do you
Well, the
have a
other thing
daily
is,
routine that you do every
I
day? Like, do
do.
you have a
I do. I'm an early bird. Are you an early bird?
no? What time are you getting up? Oh,
Really?
actually, you did text me at 5:30 this morning, so probably about
I'm
5:30.
sorry. I know I had a young
I don't
couple that
care.
I was texting one time and they're like, "Kelly, our phone's dinging." I'm like, "Don't you turn it off?" Um,
Yeah,
I am up
mine's on
early.
silent.
Yeah, they I guess theirs wasn't. And I was like, "I'm sorry." So 5:30 I'm up.
Wow.
I make a cup of coffee with my dog and he lays on the couch next to me and I will scroll and kind of catch up. I have a daily devotion routine, so I read my Bible on my phone and I do some devotions on my phone, spend a few minutes praying, and then 3 or 4 days a week I get dressed and I go work out from 7:20 to 8:30 with a bunch of women early in the morning. I don't love
Oh,
to work
nice.
out. I'm sorry, Karen, if you watch this. One of my best friends is the trainer. She's like, "Oh, I love working out." I'm like, "No, I don't love working out."
Yeah.
I know you too. You're like a I do it because my body is just not a skinny body. So,
When
I
you said
yeah,
workout, you were like, "I, work out in the
I
morning."
know, because she did so it's a HIIT class, so we do cardio and
Oh,
weights, and
nice.
I've been upping my weights because I've been reading women over their 50s really so I'm, like, increasing to a lot heavier weights, so instead of, like, 8s, I'm doing, like, 15s, I'm trying to get to 20s. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I hurt all the time.
You hurt
I
all the
hurt all
time.
the time. I hurt all the time. I'm like, I'll come home and I'll be like, "My knees, I gotta go sit in the hot tub."
That's so funny. Yeah, you
So
gotta
I
soak a
do
little bit.
that. Yep, on the mornings I don't work out, I'm at my desk off and on all day or on appointments. This is a time of year it's slow. So I will go through all of my past clients, my center of influence, people that had emailed me and say, "Hey, this is Kelly Jo. We talked a few months ago. Are you still interested?" I just try to touch base and drum up business.
Yeah, that the constant contact again. We're always going back to you
Hmm.
touching base with them every now and then. What do you think like what types of traits do you think makes a good real estate agent? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but in your words, what do you think makes a good real estate agent?
Someone who can communicate.
Mhm. Yep.
Communication is key with everyone.
Yeah. Husband, wife, kids,
Yep.
work,
Everything.
friends.
Communication is key. The minute you don't communicate, there's frustration, there's anger, you feel left out. So apply that to your client or apply that to the other agent. You have agents that don't respond for 2 days. You're like, "Hello, hello."
Mhm. Yeah,
You
which
need
is
to
the number one
communicate.
complaint of real estate agents is that we never communicate. Number one complaint.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think the other one is, I hate to say be kind because in this day and age, everyone's like, be kind. You should be kind. I have a deal that we just settled yesterday with an agent for 5 days. Him and I were going back and forth. I wrote the offer. The seller didn't want to accept it for whatever reasons. There was no other offers. He was just waiting. And there was no nastiness. It was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk to my buyer." It was just we were both kind to each other, and in the end, we ended up pulling the deal together.
Right.
Just be
Because
kind.
you both were able to separate your ego, right?
Mhm.
And realize that not every deal is gonna get signed immediately when you send. Sometimes
Mm-mm.
it might take a day, sometimes it might take 2. Or in my case, I'm working with a relocation company for the first time,
Oh,
and
that
the
takes a
buyer
week.
side Oh my
That
god.
takes a week.
It took us 5 days to get the contract, and the contract's, like, this thick. It's
I
massive,
should
just tons of
yeah,
paperwork.
I'll help you.
Tons of paperwork.
I used to do relo, and I was like, "See ya, I'm out of here," because it is a it's like and you know what else? We you Howard Hanna has a big relo company. We have a big relo company. I'm not. I'm a big picture person. I'm not the. I like to do things with excellence, but I don't nitpick. Does that sound
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
With relocation, they'd be like, Kelly Jo, you forgot to dot your I, you forgot to cross the T. There's not a
Yeah.
capitalization there, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm showing 5 houses right now. You want me to dot my I? So I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah, it was
probably changed because it's been a while since I've been in it, but
yeah, this one with just a thick addendum that they had to sign, and of course, initial spots weren't obvious, and then they need more initials, and then I wanna add something, and then they need further proof of this, and then it's just, like, constant back and forth, but I
yep.
don't know. I always remind myself it could be worse. It could be
And
it
are
could be a
they
lot
are
worse.
they are they moving? Do you have the seller or the buyer?
I have the buyer. The buyer is
Okay.
purchasing the seller's house who is moving.
So let's
So
just stick
it's
with it because then the buyer's going to say you did a great job and they're going to refer
Mhm.
you. And that's how it
Yeah.
just keeps rolling.
Yeah, they're good friends of mine. I told them up front, I was like, "Look, these relocation companies have a lot
Hmm.
of addendums and things that we're gonna have to sign. My
Yeah.
first one doing it, I might miss a couple. So
Yeah.
just be patient with me." And I feel like if I prep them
Oh,
ahead of time, at least goes smoother.
sorry about
Who
that.
can it be
I know
now?
that's my ringtone. Who can it be now? And actually, it was my insurance lady. Darn it. So here's the other thing. If you've ever done a 203K loan, have you done one of those yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. When you
Why?
get one, let me know, and I will sit with you with a bottle of tequila, and we'll do everything together. Because it's a nightmare. Mm.
Is it? Is
Oh,
it?
yeah, it's a nightmare.
I've been prepped before that the 203K
Mhm,
is an absolute headache. But hey,
mhm.
I mean, different loans for different folks, right? Uh, when what advice do you think you would give to a new agent and the industry? Someone
To a
fresh?
new agent and in the industry or that just entered the
No, that
industry?
are just a brand new agent. What advice would you give to them in real estate? Just got their license and they go, Kelly Joe, I can't wait to sell real estate. What's your wise sage advice to them?
So, what I have said, because there's a lot of agents that I've actually trained, they've come in and, a few of them have stayed and done really well, and some have skedaddled. You have to stay involved. You have to really, really stay involved, and when I say stay involved, from the very beginning, if your company can train you, if you have a mentor, if you have someone that you can shadow, do it. Don't
Mhm,
think that you're just gonna not go in the office and you're gonna do it from home. You will lose motivation. You will not do it. You have to make yourself accountable and you have to go in and prospect at least an hour every day. And you know what? This is the thing. When we started, it was just phone calls. Texting was around, but it wasn't, I don't think it was huge. So it was always calling, right?
mhm,
Now, did you know that you could do videos on Messenger? So you can look up people on Messenger and say, "Hey, this is Kelly Jo Maher. I'm in real estate now. Love to work with you," and send it in Messenger. Or you have
mhm.
Instagram or all the social media we do. But personalizing it in Messenger, you can do that. You
Yeah,
could do a video text. So just sit down and call or door knock because you have to prospect. You'll never make it. And you have to have, I hate to say thick skin, but for everyone that says, no, I don't need you, be kind. Be kind. Okay, if you ever do, come back to me because sometimes they will come back. It didn't work out
mhm,
with that realtor. But you have to
yeah.
prospect, you have to be accountable. And it takes 3 to 5 years for you to actually grow that funnel. Don't think that you're going to get in it in 1 year and have this funnel.
Yeah, it could even take you 3 to 5 years to grow that thick skin too when you get in this business.
Mm, I
'Cause
know.
you have some heartbreak. It's like you said, you work with somebody for, like, 2 years, and then they fall off the face of the earth, you never hear from them again, and
You see
then
their house
nothing.
listed by another agent. You're like, what
Yeah, it's
the
like, "God
hell?
dang it," you know?
I
It's
know. And you
but
want to
that's
go,
how this
what the
business
hell's
is.
wrong with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay. I'll say, I saw you just listed your house. Good luck. I hope I sell it.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yep, exactly. That's the professional way to approach, and especially when you're first new, it's hard because it's a tough pill to swallow because it's a loss of a paycheck. You
Yep.
take it a lot more personal. And I feel like I have only gotten over that probably in the last couple of years. Like for 3 years, I was like holding on. I'd be like upset at something and then I would like kind of let it stew all day. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, well, they'll come back to me. If
Whatever.
not, I wish them well. Love
Yep.
them to
Be-
pieces. Hope, wish the best for them.
right. I just learned, and not to Christianize this, but I'm going to. I learned the hard way when I would meet with clients, um, and I could feel that it was not a good fit, and yet I still forced myself into the situation kindly. But your gut was off.
Yeah.
Your gut's just off. And then I've learned, oh my God, maybe it was like year 10 or 12, where I had a really, really seasoned top agent say to me, Kelly, just say you don't want the listing. Just say you don't want to work with them. And I was like, what? What?
You could
What?
do
I
that?
can do that? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to get
Right.
everything. And
Yeah.
so I abide by that. And then now I always say, if God wanted them in my life, he would have put them in my life. They picked another agent. He doesn't want them in my life.
Mhm.
So
Right.
they weren't meant
Right.
to be. He's got something else,
What
something
advice
better.
would you give to a grizzled veteran, somebody who's been in the business for 10 plus years?
Learn the freaking computer.
Yeah. You said it
Learn
like
how
my
to
like a
text.
Jersey aunt. Learn the
Learn
freaking
the
computer.
freaking computer. I don't text. I don't email. Can you? I had an older attorney go, can you fax it? I go, I don't have a fax. I literally had to pay $20 to get an online fax number to fax him something. I'm like, seriously? Who
Ah,
doesn't do this? I'm joking. I think some of the grizzled, see, I love new agents as long as they're kind. I love them. Me and MJ hit it
mm.
off. Me and Ace hit it off. We've decided we're going to do monthly lunches. You're more than welcome to join us.
Monthly
I learned from
parties.
them. I
Yeah.
learned from them because you guys are, my kids are going to kill me if I say this. You guys are younger and hipper, right? They're like, Mom, hip's not a word. Um, I'm always like, it's so fetch. Stop saying that.
So fetch. Don't say fetch, mom.
I
God,
know,
you're
don't say fetch.
embarrassing us.
That's from Mean Girls. It's so
Mean
fetch.
girls. Yeah, right, right.
Gretchen was trying to make, yeah. But new agents learn a lot. So when they come in my office and they're like, "Oh, we just learned this in training," I'm like, "That's awesome. I didn't know that." And
Right.
then I could tell you something. So I think you always see those comments on social media. Oh my God, if I hear another older agent saying, I've been in the business this many years, well, that's because the new agents are not respecting the fact that they have been in the business a while. But older agents also need to respect there are some knowledge and some new ways of thinking that younger
Mhm.
agents have, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we just got over ourselves.
It's very interesting because when I look at real estate agents, I see like this new crop of generate like this new generation of real estate agents coming into the market, and I'm like really excited to see it. And I love the fact that there's like younger people getting into real estate because real estate's generally
Mhm.
been like average age of an agent is what, like 50 or 55, somewhere in that
I
range.
don't even know.
And like what's that, even higher?
No, I don't know. I'm the average
Oh,
though then. Yeah.
oh, well, there you go. Well, and it's like, well, no, I thought you were only like 31, 32.
I love you already. I'll take you to lunch.
No, yeah, and it's like it's really refreshing to see because it's cool because a lot of the younger agents are so good with like social media and all of like the
Yeah.
technological aspects, not just social media, but like how to do spreadsheets, how to use the computer, how to do this, how to use their
Mm.
phone for everything you can freaking imagine. And it's I don't know, it's really cool to see. I love seeing like new agents on this on in the business, not even if it's just like a year in, 6 months, whatever. Because it's I remember making the switch to real estate. It
Yeah.
was tough,
What
especially
did you
trying to
do
balance.
before this?
I was assistant store manager, for running,
Oh.
so I was in retail, and I was just
Oh, I
like
love running.
it was great. It was a great company to work for, and, I just grew tired of doing the retail thing. It was all every holiday was closing. When you're assistant
Mhm.
manager, like, a lot of the duties kinda fall on
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 you.
your back. Yeah. So it was just frustrating, and then the way that like, I was very fortunate, I'd say Runnings was great to work for because they like when I first got into real estate, they let me kind of like step down from my position, but still full time. And I was still showing houses. And like if I had to show a house on my lunch break and I was gone for an hour and a half, they were like, all right, see you later. Just make sure you sign out. We'll see you when you get back.
That's nice.
They never once did they ever give me a headache about that. So they really let me like juggle both my jobs, but not everybody is afforded that
Mm-mm.
luxury, and making the switch to a new career when it's commission only can be
Yep.
really tough for people. It could really put up a wall for a lot of people, you know?
You
So to
have to
see new
have
people
another.
in there,
Yeah,
what'd
you
you
have
say?
to have a source of income. You have to have another
Yeah.
source of income. And I know that we're not supposed to say that, but you either need to have a sugar daddy or sugar mama or something because a job, you just can't. I mean, you're not going to get paid for 6 months, right? But I
Yeah.
will tell you this, if you ask me what my pet peeve is, I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh, yeah, what's your pet peeve?
I'm just going to offer it to you. Untrained agents.
Mm. How do you know they're
Un
untrained, Kelly?
um Doing things that you know is unethical,
Yeah,
incorrect.
okay. Yep, check.
Like, where's their manager and where are they? Like, so the only thing I can say is everyone's like, I'm gonna get my license because the last 3 years and all of HGTV and all the shows are like, oh, you just get your license and you throw on a pretty outfit and you go show a house and run a contract. You and I both
Mhm.
know that is not the way it goes.
Right.
There's a lot, and they're really coming down on um, a lot of things we can't do, and if, so there's a little thing that's going on and nobody seems to know it. Let me see if you know this. You are not, and I've had 3 agents do it to me this year, and one agent who's newer, who does a ton of business, and I love and adore her. We've done a ton of business together. She actually did it the correct way. Do you know that you're not allowed to take the pictures in the MLS that somebody else took and use them for any of your promotion? Did you know that?
Yeah, right, unless you took the photos yourself,
Unless
right?
you took the photo. So
Right.
you see a lot of realtors, as soon as they close on a house, they're taking my photo and go sold. No, it's my listing. Well, you didn't sell that house. It was my
Mm,
listing and my photo. You're supposed to take a new photo or just ask me. And now
right,
it's a petty thing and I don't care as long as you ask me because I have a
right.
professional photographer. So the one agent called and said, Kelly, do you mind if I use your picture for my promotion? I said, absolutely not. The other 3 agents, I'm like, do you realize that you could get fined right now if I report you? Which I'm not going to. It's petty
Right.
thing, but that's just
Right.
a tiny little read your newsletter. Nobody reads the newsletter coming out from the GSAR. That's been the last 4 years I was a director. That's the biggest thing. I'll be like, "Are you going to this function? No, what function?" I'm like, "It takes 2 seconds. Read a newsletter,
Mhm.
or these are the new rules, or this is what you need to do, or this is how we fill it out, or even like the change of the deposits in the contracts. So where are the newer agents or even older agents that don't do a lot of business?
Right.
You
Right.
have to really stay up because there's so many realtors right now, and the state is really going to start to hone in on things that we're doing incorrectly. And so
Mhm.
I'm not perfect. I'm really not. But I try to read and I try to make sure that I know what's going on so that I don't get in trouble. I don't have
Right.
someone that says, "Hey Kelly, you just did this." "Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I won't do it again."
There's a lot
So
of, like, weird, intricate like, the photo that people just, like, in earnest, I don't think nobody would think, like, just using a photo would
because you
be.
used to be able to use it, and I guess.
Oh,
So
that's
I have
interesting.
a good, yeah, I have a, yeah, you used to be able to use it. And so one of my good buddies is a realtor and we just closed on a house and did it. And I texted him teasing, like, "Hey, dude, what the hell? You just used my picture." He's like, "I didn't even know there was a thing." And I said, "I don't mind. I'm just telling you because you're going to catch one agent that's like, I'm going to report you. You now are going to get fined."
Yep.
I guess it's because I don't know. I guess maybe because everyone's paying for, excuse me, for professional photos. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess it's a good question to ask why. Or we're no longer allowed to, like, if you have a listing and I go into that listing and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love this kitchen." I'm not allowed to take a picture of your kitchen. Did you
Hmm.
know that?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
more
I
videos
stopped doing that.
in that. Now I don't know why that is because I'm promoting your listing.
Mhm.
By,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? "Oh my God, Corey's new listing, his kitchen is awesome." Why wouldn't you? But
I used
yeah.
to,
So the
when I would go through a house and I would see a really cool wallpaper, I would take a picture of
Mm.
the wallpaper and just put it on my Instagram story. And it was like wallpaper showings. Like I had some hashtag thing for it
Oh,
until
I
one
wish I
day
would have seen
when,
that.
yeah, somebody had told me that when you take a picture of somebody else's listing, you get yourself in a bit of trouble. And I was like, but it's just wallpaper. And they're like, it's hyper specific. It is choo choo train wallpaper that the seller could find on your story and be upset that you're sharing it. Like, and it's like
Yeah.
weird things like that. You're like, oh, yeah, I guess, okay, I guess I could see that, you know?
I don't know, maybe a seller got upset one day because another realtor took a picture. I don't know. It could be, and that
All
goes to
comes from a
say for
lawsuit.
home inspectors, do they follow the same thing because 'cause they're taking pictures inside the inspection? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That's
Right.
good to find out.
Maybe they're not sharing it on a public forum. This goes directly to the buyers. Maybe that's the thought
Yeah,
behind it. I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure. What's the next year look like for Kelly Jo?
I actually had, believe it or not, I actually had a slower year this year, which was kinda
Yeah.
nice. I didn't do as much as I normally do. I did enough. That's, I mean, I love it. God bless me. Hello, whatever. But, I don't know. Actually, you know what I want? My husband and I have a rental, and, last year I was on the kick that I'm going to sell everything and move to Florida, and I'm off that kick. I think I'm gonna move to, Montana and
Really?
join the yeah, I'm gonna move to, and join the Yellowstone crew.
Is that the next
So,
5 years?
I would love to go to either Montana or Tennessee, but not for a while. My husband's family's here.
Hmm.
We both have he's a builder, he has his own business here. My kids do not wanna move. I have a great business here, so I just
Right.
say that, but, I would love to pick up some more rentals. He has, a couple with his brother, and then we have a two-family together, and, I'd like to pick up a couple more rentals, actually. And
Hmm.
everyone's shocked by this. My husband's an incredible builder, but him and his brother own a company, and they're very busy all year long building gorgeous houses. I mean, gorgeous houses, specific custom. They're on the job. They're doing the foundation. They're doing everything. They're clearing the land. I want him to flip a house with me, but he doesn't have time. So I'm always
Hmm.
like, do I have to find another construction guy to flip a house with me? Is that what I got to do?
I feel like I'm cheating
Because
on
you're
my
just too
husband if I
busy.
do
I
that.
know, because you're just too busy for me. So those are two goals I have.
Nice, nice. And is that something you think you'll do in the next like 5 years, or is that like this
Yeah,
year? Yeah.
I would like to make it a 23 goal,
Okay.
depending on the
What about
market. I mean,
10 years? In the next 10 years, where do you think you'll be?
still a
Still selling
realtor.
houses?
I love it. Do you love it? I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I love selling houses. I'm just thinking like next 10 years, is it something like maybe you want to become more of an educator or maybe you want to get involved with more
Oh my
of the
gosh.
board? It sounds like you want to get less involved with the director, but I'm just thinking 10 years down the road, like what you still think you're gonna be boom, top producer?
I don't know. There's a lot of
Yeah,
I don't know.
you will.
I don't know. Look at Barb Sarasillo. She's like number one in the MLS. Damn it, Barb, if she sees this. I always say that
Yeah.
at our company awards. I'm like, damn it, Barb. Um, I mean, she's still rocking and rolling, and she's been doing this, what, 30, I want to say 30 years. Forgive me if I have the wrong dates, but I will still be selling real estate because to me, I love it. It's not, it doesn't feel like a job to me. It doesn't.
Mhm. Yeah, same
Um,
here.
it really doesn't. There's not one time that I get up and go, oh my gosh, I got it. I mean, I get excited about meeting with clients. I get excited when I go on a listing appointment. I just love it. I did 4 years as a director. If anybody watches this that's a realtor, get involved. It's very eye opening. It's a great, or get on a committee. There's tons of committees, and they don't meet that often. I mean, once a month, you can give up an hour once a month to get involved.
Mhm.
You're the third person this month that asked me about education. You're
Yeah.
the third because we talked about it. I think last time when when we saw each other last time, and you were like, "Oh, I just did a class," and then two other people at my luncheon last week on the board said you should start teaching. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody really wants to listen to me drone on for an hour. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think you'd be great. I think you'd be really a natural at teaching. The hard part is just trying to construct the classes. Like that's what Brittany and I are gonna be moving in the next couple of weeks. So we got a lot of balls in the air, but I gotta my goal for this coming year is I want to teach at least 4 CE credit certified classes, which means I have to
Wow.
build the class first. So I have to like build it, outline it, and then submit it to the Department of State. So there's still some loopholes to jump through, but I think you just have a great personality for it. I even said that you need to
Well,
have your own cooking show.
I love to cook. If we could get CE credit for that, realtor cooking,
I don't know. We'll figure out a way. I don't know. We'll
I'll
make it work,
present it.
Department of State.
So, like I said, when I worked for AT&T, that's what I did. They would send me around to different sales centers. I mean, Arizona, Florida, and I'd spend a week with teams, and I would just, I remember talking, and I mean, I must have come up with the class. It's been so long ago. Literally, you're talking 20, 30 years ago. I've been in real estate 18, and that was 10 years before that, prior to that. So,
Oh, wow. Right. Right. Yeah. Back when you were 6 years old, I couldn't believe
yeah, when I
AT&T hired a 6-year-old. Wow,
I
that's
was a
crazy.
child prodigy.
No, I think you would be great at it because you're super personable, and I think you have a good way of explaining things.
No, thank you.
So you've one thing you've always wanted to do is flip a house, right?
Yeah, can you
In real
believe it?
estate, is that always one thing
My
you want
husband's
to
a
do?
builder. My husband's a builder. I'm a realtor, and we've never flipped a house.
Mm. It's like a match made in heaven. That's
I
a,
know,
a
right?
a builder and a real estate agent relationship.
A builder and a real estate agent walked into a bar. I don't know the joke to that.
Yeah, I know that does
But,
sound
I mean,
like
isn't
such a good
it
joke.
uncanny? Because there's a lot of people that flip houses, but they have to hire the contractor.
Right, right.
I mean, I have
Uh,
investors.
if you had a magic wand, Kelly Jo, and you could just change anything about real estate, what would it be? Bing.
I saw this question, and I liked your 30-day close, but
I
I don't.
I could get on a soapbox about this closing thing. It drives me wild that we take 60 days. We're one of like 4 states in the United States that it takes
I
60
know.
days to
That's
close on
so
a
funny. When I got
transaction.
my license, they told me we were one of 2 states.
Oh, there
There's
you
only
go.
2 states in the whole US. You might be right because 'cause it's been a while, that has a 60-day close. Everybody else just uses a title company. I don't know if it's because of all the laws that New York has, and we also have attorneys. All the other states do not need an attorney.
And the
Um,
attorney from what I've gathered, if we just ordered the title and survey, once you got a signed purchase contract, we would be able to close in 30 days. But the caveat with that is title work is only good for 6 months, right? So
right.
if the contract falls through, then you have to go back on the market. There's a chance that you have to reorder and pay for it again. But I'm thinking like the percentage of that happening is pretty low. And I get the attorneys are there to mitigate the risk, but we
Yeah.
all collectively as a company or as a I don't know what the term for it, collectively as a group of real estate
Yeah.
professionals that I think we could really push a 30-day close on a lot of transactions. I think we could do better than a standard 60-day closing,
So
but
I will tell
I'm
you
not an attorney.
when I
So
first started, it was, I think, 30 or 45 days. It was
it
always
should
30 or
be.
45 days. And
Yeah, it
then
should
as
be.
real estate, so back then when I started, real estate wasn't, um, social media wasn't as active, and real estate, it wasn't, I mean, right now real estate's hot. Everyone wants to be a realtor, look at remodel their homes. Think about it.
Oh my god, I watched
Everybody's talking
Selling
about.
Sunset and it
I
looks
know.
so easy.
I love those shows. I know their lunches. There was a meme the other day I saw where their lunches are all sitting having mimosas in their 6-inch stilettos. My lunch, I just threw like a Tupperware container of salad and old chicken in it. I'm like, before you called, I'm like, um.
Yeah.
So my pet peeve, Michael Astrino, I love you. You're gonna hate me for saying this. Is the deposit issue? Oh, maybe he'll love me. I think there needs to be um a bigger deposit. Some agents are
Then
still doing, I don't know if we're
minimum
allowed to talk about this.
1,500.
Well, it really isn't a, we really can't say a
Not really a
minimum, but the
minimum.
contract, right, but the contract says the seller gets to keep the 1,500, up to 1,500. So at least
Right.
1,500 or 2,000. So, but here's what I cannot stand. It's supposed to be a binding contract, okay? People back out all the time. They just back out. And really, what can you do?
Mhm.
So if they back out and you're the seller, you can take them to court. right?
You can keep that earnest money deposit, right? The attorneys could fight over it. But yes, thank you. Yeah, exactly, Kelly. Yep.
That's
Not
my
once have
pet
I had the
peeve.
seller. Yeah.
That's my pet peeve because it says in the contract. So this is there needs to be better. Okay, whoever designs the contract, it's well, it used to be Von Lang. So if you're hearing me, it should be a no-brainer. It automatically goes to the seller. If you back out for any other reason other than what's stated in the contract, contingency wise,
Home
that deposit should
inspection.
automatically go to the seller. No ifs, and
Mhm.
and it says the seller is allowed to keep up to 1,500, right? But what do? They go, "Oh, the seller spent $600 in an abstract and title, so we'll release 600." But if the buyer doesn't want to release the contract, I have one right now, it stays in escrow and it could stay in escrow forever until both
Right.
parties release it, right?
Mhm.
If the seller wants to hold the buyer to the flame, he has to physically take him to court. So to physically take him to court, you can't sign the release that's needed to resell the house. So what do I say to my seller? Okay, if you want to take him to court, I can't resell this house unless you put contingent upon a release, right? And they're
Mhm.
not going to sign a release because he wants to take him to court and make him buy the house. So you're,
Right.
the seller always gives in,
Yeah. Yep.
always gives in.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. That is a crazy thing too. And there's even some areas that don't do it's not like minimum, it's like a certain percentage of the purchase price. It's like 1% of the purchase price has to be an earnest money deposit check. So different parts of the world or the United States all do it different, which makes real estate even even harder between states.
yeah. So that's I mean, shorter days. We used to do shorter days. I just sold 2 houses this week and I literally put a 30-day close because one, the seller is gone by the first of the year. So it's really if his attorney can move and get the title work ordered now, the bank and the attorney I use can do it. But it's going to be the seller's attorney moving his butt and like ordering now, today,
Yeah.
ordering it in.
Yep.
And the same thing for the second one. It was a vacant house. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
put 30-day close on both of them.
Yeah, that's what my friend Alex, he's in Pennsylvania and there's no attorneys, it's just title companies.
You
He
you
said he
just
got his
closed.
buyer contract to close in 14 days. Contract to close in 2 weeks.
I had a buyer in Florida.
What?
She sold her house here, went to Florida. She literally closed in 7 days. Found a house, wrote, and closed in seven. I'm like, how does the
Oh,
bank do that in Florida and not here?
yeah.
I
I don't
don't.
get it. I don't know. There's some missing link and it drives me bonkers that we're 60 days
Well,
because
they
it's
don't.
hard to
They
maintain the client's expectations for 60 days. That's what Alex was like. Yeah, we close in 14 days. I'm like, dude, it takes 60 here. He goes,
days here.
what?
I
Like,
know.
how? He's like, how do you
And it's
maintain that
unknown. So
relationship?
in all those other states, there's no attorneys. They just
Right.
have a title company. And you
Yep.
say, okay, we're signing a contract today is what, this 14th. Let's close the 20th. And I'm gonna order your moving truck the 20th. And we're all gonna
Right.
go to
Right. And
closing
it's
on the 20th.
locked in. Yep. Yeah.
Not
That's
here.
well.
Now everyone's like, everyone says, how do I order a moving truck? You gotta be flexible. I don't know.
Wait. Wait until 4 days before you're closing, because that's when you'll find out
Yep.
you're closing. It's 4 days
Yep.
before, and it's just like, why in New York are we such delay, so behind everywhere else? Like, everywhere
I
else
don't
proves that we
know.
can do it, and here we cannot. It just blows my mind because it's like it's tough to maintain a client's like expectations and for a full 60 days. Like that's a long time to be like,
Get them in, get it out.
so it's just like you end up waiting. It's like hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And I think we as an industry can do better in New York just in terms of flipping it around quicker. But
You
again, it
you
does
should
come
run for
with risk.
you should run for some office and change that.
Yeah, I don't know what office you need to run, but that's the when someone says it blows my mind. I'm like, how are we one of the only and I don't think it's just attorneys. Like I think we could all get on the same page and all get things moving. I just think it's an old way
Well,
of
let's not to beat a dead horse, but literally what happens is you write the offer. The realtors in other states I hate to say no more, but they're versed in what the attorneys would look for in deeds and abstract. They have to know all that.
Yep.
The Florida test is ridiculous. They have to know all that. So here you write the contract. Where does it go? Bank attorney, buyer attorney, seller attorney.
Hmm.
Then once the title and abstract comes in, it goes to bank attorney, buyer attorney, seller attorney. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
you always say, okay, we're going to give each one 2 weeks. That's where the delays are.
Yeah. Yep.
Survey
All the
companies are
passing.
behind. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
like
there's a thing too. In Pennsylvania, Alex said that people usually don't get surveys when they buy the house. They have to update the
really.
survey themselves if they want to put a fence in or a driveway or something in.
Well, what
I was
if
like,
it's
wow, man. I
wrong?
mean, I've had a couple of deals that have fallen through because we found out. The one
The
example
survey
in my
was
head was
wrong.
the city of Syracuse owned like part of the land in one of the houses, and we wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for the survey.
Wow.
You know, so it's like, yeah, they do things different, but is it at a cost to not
I
benefit the
was just
client?
thinking, is it are we more protected because we go through the extra steps and the extra time?
Yeah, it could be.
I think
Yeah,
maybe we are.
yeah, yep. But I think there's got to be a smoother solution. But I'll get off my soapbox because nobody wants to hear me chime about that again. You know what?
Someone needs
What were you gonna say?
I said somebody needs to have a cup of coffee and a cookie when they're watching this. Talk all about the
Yeah,
pros
yeah.
and cons of
Seriously,
real estate.
seriously. When do you think you saw your business grow the largest, have the biggest growth? Is there anything particular that attributed to that growth?
You know what's so funny is when I saw you were going to ask that. Am I allowed to say that? I'm not saying it.
Yeah, you
I
can.
mean, I remember when I hit 50 deals and I was like, "Oh my god." And now 50 deals is nothing. It's I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to diminish that. But if you've been in the business, 10, 15 years, I'm thinking you should be doing 50, right?
Right.
Um and then my manager is funny because I like to always my goal is always to be in the top. It used to be the top 3 of my company, and I was always in the top 3 until, damn it, Barb Saracillo came on. I love Barb, she's awesome. I This is a running joke, no matter where I go, I'm like, "Damn it, Barb." She's incredible. If you wanna podcast her, she's wonderful. Um,
Good luck trying to get her for an hour. Oh my god. I don't know if
she's
I
so
could get
busy.
an hour of her time. Like I was in
She's
her
so
car,
good.
Kelly Jo, for a caravan, and
A
it did
caravan?
not stop ringing. It did not.
Mhm.
She would hang up the phone and it would ring again with a different client. Hang up,
Yep,
different client.
yep,
She's
and
got a
she's been doing it
crazy life,
forever.
I'm
She's
sure.
incredible. Yeah, so, uh
Biggest year ever. You want to be top three, and
Yeah,
Barb came along.
now I'm yeah, no. Now I'm very happy if I'm in the top 5 or 10 of my company. But I would like to like this year was a little slower. I won't share my numbers. You can always go on there and look at it. Even though I just realized the MLS stats are a little bit off. Um, that's another point. I just called the MLS. I'm like, well, the stats are a little off. I know. So this year was a little slower. I'd like to get back up into my averages of over 70. So that's where I'd like to be. So I
70
need to hustle a
transactions
little
in a
bit.
year. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Over 70.
my highest year
Wow.
was 84, and I didn't know I did 84. That's what I was saying. My company likes to surprise me because I'm very big on my numbers. I'm always like, okay, I did this, I did that. Not against anybody else, just I'm very big on my numbers.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And I remember them saying you did 84, and I'm like, no, that's wrong. I didn't do 84. There's no way I could have done 84 because I didn't feel like it. And then I thought, wow, is my business running so smoothly that I just have I have a really good girl in the office that does my paperwork. She doesn't do anything else but paperwork for me. That's it.
Nice.
I deal with all my clients, but it just is running smoothly. So, I mean, I'm very content and very satisfied.
What do you
I'd like
think?
to do a little bit more next year.
What attributed to those 84 transactions in 1 year? What was it that you did different?
I didn't know I even did them, Corey. Literally, I was like, what? Really? How many did I do? I wasn't keeping track, and they like to
You're like,
surprise me
everything's
because
been the same. My business was the same
I
last year.
I
What are you
just
talking
was
about?
like, "What the heck?" I always average between I would say my averages used to always be around 70, 75. The last couple of
Wow.
years, I will tell you, So here's what's changed. I might not be selling as many transactions, but I'm selling higher end transactions. That
Oh,
doesn't
right.
mean I won't sell a $10,000 lot. Or I mean,
Right.
someone had called me one time and said, "I have a $30,000 mobile home. I'll sell it. Give it to me.
Right.
Whatever. I'll do
Yeah.
whatever." But I did see that the average of my transactions have changed. But I think everyone's has the last 3 years because prices were crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
Over the past 3 years, my average transaction has ticked up. I'm not quite into 50. I would love to hit 50 transactions in a year, but I
You
kind of
will.
like,
You
do I
will.
do I really want 50 because like I'm already kind of pulling my hair out sometimes. I'm at like 30 a year. The last few years,
So
it's been
you're
about
gonna. That's
30 every year.
awesome. That's still
Yeah, it's
great.
good. I
That's
love
actually.
that's nothing to shake a stick at. I mean,
It's
some agents
nothing to
don't
shake
even
it.
do that.
No, that's 2.5 to 3 transactions a month, which is crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so you'll find your groove. You'll get your groove going. You might find a transaction coordinator, someone in the office. That's going to help you tremendously as you get busier. Um, because you're going to hand the paperwork over to them and not worry about paperwork. Make sure
Right.
your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted and
Yeah. Dot
everyone
your
gets
I,
the
Kellie Jo.
paperwork. Yeah, dot your I. I'm not good at that, I'll be honest with you. So I just hand my paperwork in. She makes sure everything's great. I pay her for the transaction and it's been like that for the last 10 years and I'm with my peeps. I go out with my clients and
Nice.
do
And
what I
this
love.
person, did you specifically interview, or is this somebody that your brokerage
It's
provides to you?
somebody it's no, it's somebody that was already well versed in real estate.
Oh,
So,
okay, cool, nice. How
yeah,
did
it's a
you
secret.
connect with them?
She just needed extra money. I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh, wanna do
hallelujah,
this for me?" Mhm.
hallelujah. There's some agents had mentioned trying to find a transaction coordinator, and I don't even know like how do you vet a transaction coordinator when I feel like I would
I
want
would
them to be local, like I wouldn't want them to be like in another country or another state, like I want to, like I
from
like
from India?
right, like, you can like, Kelly,
Yeah,
you can find a transaction
I know.
coordinator in India that will do your paperwork, and they'll charge you $5 a transaction. 1, ew, right? Feels weird not paying them
Yeah,
a justified amount. 2, I d they don't know Syracuse. Like, if I were to bring a transaction coordinator on, 1, I would wanna make sure they have some knowledge of real estate, and 2, like, I would want them to be here local, like, not like face to face, even somebody like in Rochester, you know what I mean? Just somebody that like you can call and
yeah.
know it's a person on the other. I don't know. It's just
So I
it's
would tell
it's a
you if or
business.
anybody find a realtor that doesn't do a lot of business that might wanna do this on the side.
Mm,
Maybe
yeah.
they do it, part-time, not making it a huge career, or find a realtor that didn't make it because they just didn't make it for whatever reasons. They don't wanna prospect or do sales, but they know the business now that they've been trained and pay them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
mean, they don't need an MLS. They don't go into your MLS. All they're doing is, you know, faxing,
typing away.
or faxing. Yeah, all they're doing is like emailing and sending contracts out. That's it.
What do you think is your biggest source of inspiration?
Um, this sounds so corny, and it took me a while to think about that question. Um, it's actually my family, and they're not huge cheerleaders. I will tell you, they're so accustomed to mommy providing a good lifestyle for them. And my husband, he's a super hard worker. We just have great work ethic. But the fact that I could provide what I was never given
Mhm.
is my inspiration. To
Yeah.
not have to live paycheck to paycheck, to just go out
Mhm.
and hustle and do what it takes. And if it's slow, I gotta hustle. I gotta come up with prospecting. I gotta do it. No one's doing it for me. So my family, I just want to give them what I never had. I want to give them
How
a good
how do you
lifestyle.
battle that, like, the secondary thoughts in your head where you feel like, "You're not doing enough, you better prospect. Hey, you
Mm,
can't take a relaxing day." Because that's my problem is I feel like when I have a day where, like, it's like a Sunday, I show a house in the morning, boom, I'm home with Ashton and my wife the rest of the day. There's always that little part of my brain that's like, "Hey, you're being lazy, don't do that, you need to prospect, what are you doing right now?" How have you battled that inner voice?
I turn it off because you need a day of rest.
Yeah.
Your family comes first. That's what I've learned. Your family comes first. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was pregnant with Sophie, and I had a 6-month-old when I got my license. Emma was just born. So I had a 6-month-old and I was pregnant with Sophie. Trust me, we were done after that. I said to my husband, I'm gonna kill you. So I waddled in every house. I had to use the restroom in every house because I was like, 6 months pregnant. And then for the first 10 years, I'm having toddlers in my car and I'm taking them to babysitters and I'm picking them up in babysitters and I'm hustling. I'm making money and the phone would ring in my car and I used to go, "Hey, this is Kelly," and I taught my kids to be quiet, right? So they're 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're
Mhm.
quiet. And then they started to be young teenagers, and my phone rang one day, and everyone's talking and laughing, and they had kids in the car, and they went, "Shh, shh, shh." And I had an epiphany. I was like, my kids literally know that this client is more important to them, more important to me than them. Because instead of waiting to call them back, I am telling my kids to shut the heck up. Everyone be quiet. And then I'm
Yeah.
always on the phone in the car. So I stopped that. I'm
Yeah.
like, I stopped. And I just decided um, I will show houses Sunday, but almost every Sunday I'm home. I will
Mhm.
if in this market you got to go show a house.
Yeah, right.
But I'm a big lister. Most of my sales are listings. So I will work every day. If I have to go Sunday, I will go Sunday, but they don't need to know that, Sunday's my family day.
Right.
And I spend
Right.
time. You need that, Corey. You do.
Mhm. Yeah, that's for
So
me, that was the hardest thing getting into real estate was
no.
because, like, I went from a job that was like, "Here's your schedule, you clock in, you clock out," and then when I go home, sometimes I get a phone call, the register was short or we're
Yeah.
missing something that was lost, like, so, like, now I'm like, you work for yourself, you have to shift gears, and it's like, you're like, I find myself always asking the question, "Did you do enough today? Did you do
You
enough today
always
when
did
you
enough.
leave?"
Yep.
Like, there's always that little voice in my head that's like, "Hey, man, did you get your shit done today? Did you actually do work today?" Like, and then, like, when I try to take a day of rest or if I'm just, like, sitting on the couch playing video games, I'm like, "Did you earn this?" It's like it's like you get this voice in your head, you're like, "What are you doing, you lazy piece of shit? What are you doing? Get your
Oh
ass off the
yeah,
couch."
you're gonna
But
grow
you
out
need
of
that.
that. Yeah, well, yeah, but you need one day because your
Right.
mental health and your family's important. And it doesn't mean to say that I will answer the phone and text people, but I just try to
Yeah.
keep Sunday or when you're
Mhm.
going out to dinner with your family. So you still need you're fine.
Yeah.
If you Monday through Friday or even Monday through Saturday, you're doing something and you're prospecting, take Sunday.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves a day.
Mhm. Yeah.
You'll get over that quickly.
Yeah, it's a fun gig. I mean, it's like you said, like, I find myself now we have Ashton, he's 2.5, he'll be 3 in April, so, like, running to appointments, dropping off to sitters. There's even, like,
Yep.
a couple times I gotta bring them to showings when they're, like, good friends of mine, so it's like it's, I really do love this job. I think this was a lot better fit for me than retail, you know?
Oh yeah, you're gonna kill it. I can already tell. You're great. You were great to work with when we did the deal.
No, thanks,
Absolutely
Kelly
great to
Jo.
work with. You're very
I appreciate
welcome.
it. Hey, and thanks for doing this podcast. Can you believe an hour flew by already?
It was fun. I was kind of like, "Oh man, am I gonna say something stupid?" But whatever. I am what I am. I am what I am.
I am
Isn't
what
that
I
Popeye?
am.
Isn't that Popeye?
Well, Well, thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate your time today, and I look forward to sharing this episode with people because I think agents,
Oh,
not only in our market, but I think agents elsewhere could really learn a thing or two or have some good takeaways from this conversation. So, thank you.
it was fun. It was fun. Thank you, and good luck to you and your family.
You're the bomb, Kelly.
Maybe we'll invite you on our little girls' lunch with Ace and MJ.
Yeah, I'm here for it. It'll be fun. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Cory Cast. I really appreciate the time that you spent listening and even listening to the full episode to get you to this point. I just want to say I'm just so appreciative and so thankful that I have so much love and support for these episodes. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, reach out to me. I'm always looking for new people. Let's talk about what you're passionate about. Let's talk about your hobbies. Let's give you a positive platform to talk about the things that matter to you. Do me a favor, make sure you hit subscribe, like, follow, leave a review of the podcast. All those little things will help this podcast grow. Because without you guys, there is no podcast. And I am just so grateful that you're taking the time to listen to it today. Thank you so much.